one of the absolute favorite places for families and adults alike to go to learn more about the sciences and explore some of the great things happening right here in Michigan is the Michigan Science Center. And coming up, you'll have a chance to go to the Michigan Science Center for free. Here to tell us about that, some of those activities and more happening at the Michigan Science Center is Angie Selkowski, the Director of Guest Experiences at the organization. Andy, thanks for being with us today.
And thanks for having me. Good morning.
Appreciate having you on. So your free day at the Michigan Science Center is coming up this Saturday, September 24th, featuring a number of different activities, not just in the sciences, but also in other arts as well. Tell us about some of these activities that will be available to the public on this free day on Saturday.
And we have a great lineup planned thanks to Strategic Staffing Solutions. We're going to be open to the public for free. We also have partners in that day from the Detroit Zoological Society talking about animal conservation and how they study different animal or different data to learn about the animals and how they're doing out in the environment. We have Shakespeare in Detroit. It's going to be talking about everything from the science and engineering that goes into lighting design in theater and costuming and different things we can learn through performance and play. And then another partner called Edible Wow, which is going to be doing a live cooking demonstration as well. So lots of cool stuff going on this weekend, along with all the other great things we do at the Science Center every day.
You can learn more information, of course, on the website, mi-sci.org. That's mi-sci.org for more information on the free day on Saturday, as well as all the other activities all throughout the year at the Michigan Science Center. Andy, how can people participate in this free day? Are they just showing up? Do they have to pre-register?
Absolutely pre-register at our website. You just said mi-sci.org. We suggest guests do that in advance. The tickets are going fast. We may have a few tickets available, first come, first serve the day of, but your best bet is to register in advance. It also helps us spread out guests just throughout the entire day. So when you do sign up for tickets, you'll pick a different time slot depending on the time you may want to arrive. And we just ask you to try to stick as close to that as you can.
I'm joined by Angie Selkowski, the Director of Guest Services at the Michigan Guest Experience at the Michigan Science Center. Joining us on today's edition of the Megacast, again, as Andy said, mi-sci.org for more information on the free day coming up this weekend and other programs throughout the year. So what are some of these STEAM activities that are going to be available? It's a big attraction for people, especially for parents bringing their kids who really want to get them engaged in STEAM as early as possible.
Absolutely. So at the Michigan Science Center, we like to say we put you at the center of science, having kids see themselves in these STEAM careers. So Shakespeare in Detroit is going to be talking about costuming, what are the different, the geometry that goes into costume design. So kids will have a chance to check out how costumes are assembled through the different performance type of thing. Think about how we learn through play and experience things through play. And also think about lighting and technical design, some of the amazing scenery and different effects that go into the arts and that sort of thing as well. So combining the arts and science together. We also do the same kind of thing around the Science Center every day through our different theater and live presentations that we do. So we really want kids to be able to see themselves in it. And really all ages. There's stuff for all ages here at the Michigan Science Center. We have 3 theaters. We have our IMAX, our planetarium, and our 4D theater, along with live presentations. And we have a really great traveling exhibit called Popnology, talking about the science of pop culture mixed with science fiction. And that's going to only be here for a couple more days. That's included with admission as well. That closes on September 30th.
And Andy, let's take a step back. As you're planning these sorts of programs on a day like Free Day, that is, of course, as you said, being presented by Strategic Staffing Solutions and for their youth design community free day this Saturday, September 24th at the Michigan Science Center. As you're planning these sort of different experiences, these different exhibits that come in and other exhibits around those areas that are in addition to those main attractions, what are some of those main focuses that you and your staff are working on to really engage the community in some of these scientific learning experiences that are at the Michigan Science Center all throughout the year?
We want to make science accessible and approachable. Sometimes people get intimidated by science, or they're not really sure about it. Maybe it's something that they were never, familiar with or confident in. So we like to approach people at their level. It's not a formal education; it's informal. It's edutainment, as we call it sometimes, and really just giving the wow factor, giving people a chance to participate in the science themselves, to engage around that sort of stuff. Whether it's through a hands-on exhibit or a program that we develop here, we want to get the volunteers up. We want to get kids and people of all ages involved in the science directly, so they can kind of have that little spark of inspiration. And maybe when they go home, they think about, hey, I remember that from the Science Center. There's science all around me every day. So we definitely want to make it approachable to everyone out there.
How much of a factor does interactivity play into assigning these different exhibits to go live throughout the year, or partnering with these organizations that are traveling with these different science exhibits to museums, because so often people will go to museums to see and to read, but not necessarily be able to interact with either the history or the science or other interesting topics that they are there to experience.
Interactivity is key. We learn so much through playing, through doing, through experiencing, that it's not just reading, the facts and understanding the concepts. It is really putting them into action. So if a guest can have an opportunity to launch a bottle rocket, or to see interact with the Science Center staff member doing an experiment, it really just is key for them to actually do it themselves, to know that, hey, I can experience science, and I can be a part of it as well.
And going back to the free day on Saturday, September 24th at the Michigan Science Center, that's the Strategic Staffing Solutions Youth Design Community Free Day, happening all day on September 24th. You mentioned the Shakespeare in Detroit exhibit. Part of it is going into the science behind costume design. But there's a lot more interesting science that actually goes into the theater that most people aren't really thinking about, that they'll be teaching at the Michigan Science Center this week, Saturday. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the other sciences of theater that Shakespeare in Detroit will be explaining to the people who come into the Michigan Science Center on free day?
They're also going to be highlighting, think about sound design. They're going to have an activity around rain sticks, but the amount of just, if you're seeing a show or a movie, when that sound really puts you into that environment, you feel like you're in the middle of something and fully experiencing it. They're also going to talk about lighting design, just creating the atmosphere, what goes behind, think about lighting, the optics and the intensity, the color of the light, that sort of thing. And all the way to building scenery. You think about how incredible, you'll see a set, touring show will come through, or one of your local community theaters. And it just creates that whole experience that there's a lot of design engineering. We want actors and performers to be safe, but also to do really cool things on stage that you wouldn't think were possible.
In addition, you're partnering with the Detroit Zoo, or the Detroit Zoological Society that runs the local Detroit Zoo, at this free day. And they're teaching a lot about sustainability. And when people think about their local zoo, they're not necessarily thinking about environmental sustainability. They're thinking about, okay, we're managing a variety of different animals, often exotic animals that are not native to this local area, and that's it. But there's so much that this organization does to help with research and with innovation for the future, not just at zoos, but in the general community. What can people learn from the Detroit Zoo at this weekend's event?
So they're going to talk about animal conservation, some of the different activities they're going to do. They're going to talk about how thermal cameras can help us, study nature and things around us. How the data that they track, whether through sound recording, through observation, helps us understand what's going on in nature to help protect ecosystems and animals, down to things like just protecting our environment. So they're going to be doing a lot of really cool hands-on activities. They're going to be set up. They're a great partner. We're always happy to have the Detroit Zoo at the Michigan Science Center.
We're joined by Angie Selkowski from the Michigan Science Center. He's their director of guest experience, and of course, their free day coming up at the Michigan Science Center this Saturday, September 24th. Go to their website, mi-sci.org, for more information, as well as to register for this event. It is free to the public. They do suggest that you register in order to show up at this event. The Strategic Staffing Solutions sponsored Youth Design Community Free Day, with partnerships, of course, from Strategic Staffing Solutions, as well as SID, or Shakespeare in Detroit, and the Detroit Zoological Society. Andy, before we let you go, a few more minutes, what are some of the other exciting exhibits that are coming up at the Michigan Science Center? Obviously, you got free day on this week, Saturday. Popnology still there at the Michigan Science Center through about the end of the month, September 30th. What's coming up next?
So after that, we have something really cool planned. We're hoping to announce very soon that will be replacing Popnology. We also have some new IMAX films. It's called Mysteries of the Unseen World. That also just actually launched today. We came out of our coming into our fall programming. So that's all about the really, really small, the really, really fast things that we normally don't see with the human eye. So our theaters are another amazing, immersive experience. And we're always changing things up here. We've got some great exhibits on the floor for all ages. We have our Earth, Wind, and Weather exhibit that we have a giant, tornado simulated in there. We talk about waves, we talk about storms and all kind of cool stuff. So new stuff coming into the Michigan Science Center all the time. And we're not just here in Midtown Detroit. We also have our traveling science program, which we got out into the community. We're always out at festivals and different things. going to scouting events or schools to go present out in the public. And then we also do virtual online stuff with our Echo learning program. So we're all over the place.
Well, Andy, appreciate you joining us, telling us more about these upcoming programs and a little bit of what goes in the planning, some of these different activities and exhibits that people love to engage in with the Michigan Science Center. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us, and hope to see you on Saturday.